That's right, guys, buckle up, because we are about to follow our rainbow and embark on a fast-paced, weird knuckle-punching, hover-shoey, big ol' bat-titty adventure of a lifetime, also known as Sonic Adventure 2. First released on June 23rd, 2001 worldwide, and that's a first for our reviews here. First game to release worldwide everywhere. Wish we could say that more often. Good job, Sega. And for the ever-lovely Dreamcast. Now, there was a remaster in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which released for the GameCube, which is actually the version everyone probably played. It added a couple things to the base game, which you should probably look up. Take a look at the list and see things you might have missed. They actually added quite a bit to the battle. Sonic Adventure 2 was released on the same year that was the 10-year anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog's original game. And when you know, it's also the birth of modern Sonic. Now, I know a lot of people might think that Sonic Adventure 1 Sonic was the birth of modern Sonic, but
you won't get away with this, you madman!
I don't want to talk about that game. Honestly, when I think about Sonic the Hedgehog, this game is what I think is Sonic's defining moment in the 3D world. He's just a quick, quippy asshole, you know? Sonic Adventure 2 was developed by Sonic Team USA, which is no longer a branch of Sonic Team. And they added some great stuff into the Sonic mix, with new characters, new modes, a great multiplayer, and the game was a far cry from what we had seen previously, both graphically and storytelling-wise. But we're gonna get into that bad boy real soon, but first I think we should start with a game that I came up with. I call it, is this an original Sonic character, or is this a fan-made OC? The rules are simple. I'm gonna show you a picture, and you have 3 seconds to guess whether this is an original Sonic character, or it's an OC that I made myself. Now, if you guess wrong and you lose, you have to subscribe to the channel for regular reviews about games you've probably never heard of. And if you're right, you can take to Twitter and post a link to the video to prove to people that you got it right. Anyway, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Got your guesses in? Well, guess what? This is actually Bark the polar bear from Sonic the Fighters. So this is an original Sonic character. You know what to do if you lost. Spin dash into that subscribe button. And if you won, I guess I'll see you on Twitter. Hashtag these nuts. And now for the moment you've been waiting for. This is Sonic Adventure 2. I tried my very best to weave the stories together. It's not perfect, but I tried, and there will be spoilers to a 20-year-old game, so skip to the time on the screen if you don't want to see any of this. Yes, there is story, and oh my god, it's so in the middle. So we have a choice when starting up story mode, and we can choose to either play the hero side of the story, or
the dark side
of the story. And I'm sure that everyone first starting out with this game immediately picked the side with the cool black and red hedgehog and the big tit bat. But anyway, we start with the plot that overarches, and obviously you have to play both sides to know the full story of what's going on, and I'm going to give a bit of a synopsis as best as I can. So starting the story, we have Eggman sneaking into a secret base and stealing a top-secret weapon labeled Project Shadow, which was created by his grandfather, Gerald Robotnik. This weapon turns out to be a hedgehog and grants Eggman what?
One wish.
That's right. And I guess Eggman just wishes for them to partner up, because from here on out, they're a team. And on the hero side, we have Sonic, who has been arrested for all the fanfics he's been a part... what? Oh, Black Hedgehog, it looks like him? Framing him? Okay, got it. There's another hedgehog who looks just like him. Yeah. And framed him for something, probably stealing one of the Chaos Emeralds or something. Sonic escapes captivity, the most memorable Sonic moment of all time.
What do you think you're doing? Get that hedgehog!
Talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies. I'm out of here. I like running better.
Goosebumps. After escaping the city, he runs into his lookalike and finds out that he is the cause of the, Gun operatives chasing him? Yes, what a nice name for your branch of government. Sonic then gets arrested while Shadow escapes. Meanwhile, Knuckles and Rouge fight over the Master Emerald, and Eggman tries to steal the Master Emerald for reasons? I'm honestly not sure why he tried to take it. I mean, he really doesn't need it, but... So Bright Knuckles here decides if I can't have it, no one can, and he breaks it, and the Dragon Balls scatter across the Earth instead of just around where they are. Back to the dark side, Eggman watches the news and sees that Shadow stole the Emerald earlier, and Sonic was framed for it. Eggman's base is covered in gun robots, and he destroys them to get back inside. Then we go to Shadow after robbing the bank of its emerald. He runs through the city destroying robots and shit without a gun. Man, imagine Shadow with a gun, that would probably be a good game. After that, Tails goes to Prison Island to free Sonic and ends up finding Amy. He saves her, and Amy ends up freeing Sonic, and then Sonic escapes on a rocket. Obviously Elon Musk's inspiration for his whole space program. Knuckles finds more emerald pieces and Rouge breaks into Eggman's base, gets caught and is like, hey, I've got massive bat tits, can I help you guys? So obviously Eggman's like, yeah, she's with us. Now we get some exposition about a weapon in space and it needs emeralds to power it, so Team Bad Guy sets out to find the emeralds, which sends them to Prison Island, where 3 emeralds are being stored. Eggman breaks through the security, Rouge finds the emeralds, and Shadow plants a bomb. Sonic is in the same jungle as Shadow. But the island is about to what, Sonic?
Blows up!
Thanks. Better get running, dude. He gets off the island and Shadow has to save Rouge because she's locked up somewhere. Shadow finds her and teleports at the last minute out of there. Which makes you wonder, why didn't he just teleport there to her and then teleport back out? Maybe he's like Nightcrawler, needs to know where he's going first. Now Sonic and crew return to the city and, Eggman is on TV spouting about hashtag canceling the moon or some shit. Oh my god, he blew up the moon. Dude, now the water levels are gonna rise and flood the earth. Oh, that's not happening at all? Okay, false alarm. Oh no, he's gonna piss on my wife with this big death ray. But have no fear, because Sonic has a floppy disk that he stole from the president. That's right, the commander-in-chief. Sonic just be like, hey, sorry bro, gotta borrow this, too slow! Knuckles gets more shards, and now the gang is all together again, and they are headed to Egypt, I guess, because Egypt is the only place with pyramids, right? And I've seen Yu-Gi-Oh! So Eggman has a secret base here, and the boys are like, yeah, let's fuck this up. Now we got this Mission Impossible stuff going on. Sonic breaks the security and is like, I'm in. Then Knuckles finds the keys to get in, and Tails, well, he's there. And so is Amy! Woo! Now they blast off in a fucking spaceship. That's right, we're going to space, motherfucker! Okay, some dumb filler stuff happens, and the boys crash and lose all the Knuckles shard pieces, so he's like, hey, I gotta get ballin', and he flies out, because it's really the only thing his Knuckles are good for, is, finding shards. So he bails, and ends up fighting Rouge, and saves her. But she's a bat, dude, she's got wings, she can fly. And leaves Sonic, Tails, and Amy on the ship, which crashes into Eggman's Egg Star. Now Tails blows up the cannon's engine, which apparently doesn't do anything, because it's still gonna fire. Now Sonic has to put the fake emerald into the core to finish off the Death Station, but Eggman has Amy hostage and demands the fake emerald in exchange, and wait, what? Amy, why are you here? You've done nothing! Ugh, so Eggman traps Sonic, and Tails blows the lid that the emerald is fake, like he always does, and sends Sonic to die. Horrific stuff. Tails beats up Eggman, and whoa, Sonic isn't dead? Who could have seen that coming? And he can now use the instant transmission technique he learned from the Yardradians. I think we could use this move in Smash Bros. Around the same time, Rouge finds out that Shadow isn't the real Shadow, but a different Shadow, and she asks, who the fuck are you? And he's like, I'm me, bitch. Cue every Shadow-inspired OC ever. And now Sonic confronts Shadow one final time for the final fight over which hog is the hoggiest. I don't know, dude. And we end with Sonic on the tip of the cannon, because hedgehogs can breathe in space, and he's like, yo, I'm alive, I could really go for a chili dog. Everyone rejoice, Sonic wins. I don't know where to start. Honestly, I think this was a very fresh take on Sonic. Nowadays, it's extremely overdone, with Sonic Forces being the latest offender, but back then, 2001, all you had before Sonic Adventure 2, Eggman kidnapping some forest creatures, stealing the Chaos Emeralds, and you have to chase him and fight him. That was pretty much all you got, aside from Sonic Adventure 1, which was comedic most of the way up until the very end. Sonic Adventure 2 has a serious story from start to finish, with comedy mixed in. And I think Sonic Forces way overdid it, and they were just trying to get back to what they did with Sonic Adventure 2. And when you actually look at it, Sonic Adventure 2 tried to coalesce this big story, weave it all together to make this one great narrative. and they sprinkled a little bit of twists in there. And I think it was just what Sonic needed at the time. He got to be his sassy comedic self, and he got to be with his whole crew, and then there were even new villains added to the mix to make the story that much spicier. And we weren't experiencing one story at a time like in other games. It was all happening at the same time, and everyone got to trade off the spotlight, keeping the story really fresh, which was a nice touch. And you would think that just palette swapping Sonic for a darker color and giving him an edgy personality would have ruined Sonic as a character. But so many people prefer Shadow over Sonic even today. And when you give a bat these proportions, how can you go wrong? Rouge is literally the Lady Dimitrescu of the early 2000s. Anyway, I gotta say, the story gets a thumbs up from me as it was spread out very well. So it didn't overwhelm you, and it blends all the characters together perfectly. It never really felt too crazy for a Sonic game, you know? It just felt crazy enough. This is a last-minute edit. I forgot to mention in the story that Gerald Robotnik has a granddaughter, and her name is Maria. The government shut down the Ark, and I guess they killed everyone on there, or at least that's what's implied. And as Maria died, she said she had some parting words for Shadow, which we don't know at this point, but Shadow thinks that she told him to kill all the humans, which is his motivation for why he's evil. Now we get to the actual gameplay, which you know this is a Sonic game, so you run. But that's not all you do. See, we have 6 characters to play in Sonic Adventure 2, and first I'm going to start with our beloved Blue Blur, Sonic the Hedgehog. He is basically his usual self in this game. He starts at one end of the map and runs to the goal ring as quick as he can. Sonic can spin dash, do a homing attack, and that's about it. Pretty simple stuff for our hero, and his opposite Shadow does pretty much the same thing, except way cooler. And he doesn't really run? I think he just hovers, so is he really fast? Because I think he's cheating. Oh, I almost forgot, grinding is a big part of this game, and it's actually really cool and fun. Nice little fun fact, Sonic's original shoes were swapped out with these soap shoes, which was done as an advertising move. Soap shoes were real grinding shoes, and man, I wish I had a pair. Anyways, when you grind, I think it's a really great mechanic and makes the running sections that much more fun to play. And before I move on, I guess I have to mention here that there are upgrades in this game for every character, which changes the gameplay and adds some replayability. Sonic and Shadow both get these bracelet upgrades, which lets them break steel boxes. And they gain upgrades beyond that, which allow them to light dash. A light dash is when you dash at light speed along a path of rings, which is very helpful for crossing impossible gaps. They also both gain Ancient Light, which you charge a spin dash, and then they get this little glowy aura around them, and they can auto-hit nearby enemies, and you'll never use this if you're trying to go fast, and it's never mandatory to use. Speaking of useless, Sonic also gets the magic hands. Yes. He can put his enemies into a ball and throw them. You use this once after you get it, just to see what it does, and then you go, oh, neat. Sonic also gets another upgrade up on Shadow in the form of the Bounce Bracelet, which allows him to bounce up and down to get to higher places and hit enemies. So, not too much, and half of it's useless, but it's still there. The running sections are easily the best part of the game, with nice locales and different things to see every time you play. You have multiple routes, and it's a blast to try and beat your own times. The only crux is that it really bothers me in the last level that it's almost entirely grinding sections. I would have loved a long-running level with grinding added, but, you know, that's what you get. And next up to bat is Knuckles and Rouge. They play very differently from Sonic and Shadow, as their stages consist of finding 3 of a specific item in an enclosed map, very much like Sonic Adventure 1. Once they find all 3, they win. Now, I have a couple of gripes with this section. First off, in Sonic Adventure 1, you can find any of the 3 items you're looking for at any given time. However, in this game, you have to find them in order, one at a time. Only one of the items on the radar will beep indicating you're near until you get it. Then the next one unlocks. If the first one didn't do this, I don't know why this one does. Well, anyway, you play a game of hot and cold, and this radar going from green to yellow to red, depending on how close you are to the item you're trying to find. It's simple enough and would be more fun, however. The stages get so big you could spend an hour easily finding one shard. And these hint boxes here will give you hints, but even with them, unless you know the level inside and out, you won't be able to decipher the riddle. So these boxes will give you up to 3 hints on the emerald you're looking for to help you out. So the Knuckle Rouge sections are hide and seek with puzzle platforming elements. As far as the upgrades they get, it goes like this. First, they both get an upgrade that allows them to dig, increasing the amount of fuckery where these crystals can be. Like the others, they get upgrades allowing them to break steel boxes, and respectively, Knuckles can get these glasses that allow him to see hidden objects, and Rouge gets a scouter that lets her see how many dicks Knuckle has. You know what? I wonder, how many dicks does an echidna have? Oh, and she can see hidden treasure. Just like with Sonic, Knuckles gets one up on Rouge in the form of an air necklace, which allows him to breathe indefinitely underwater, which is optional but very useful later. Like I said, it's not too bad, but as the stages go on, they get a lot bigger and really suck when it comes to finding stuff. And last but absolutely the least is Tails and Eggman. They are in robots. Nice. They are extremely slow and they just shoot stuff a lot and they have health bars. Why? There's very little variety to the Tails Eggman sections. I feel like they break up the game so much. 1 minute you're running around, getting crystals with Knuckles real fast, and then... It's so trash. So the upgrades that these two get are hover equipment to clear gaps, upgraded missiles to, you guessed it, break steel boxes. They get add-ons to make their explosion bigger, and this time Eggman is the one getting an upgrade over Tails. Fuck you, Tails. He gets an armor add-on, which increases his health. Good on ya, Egg Boy. Easily, these are the weakest sections in the game, and I honestly wish they just weren't here at all. They just don't fit in a Sonic game, which sucks because it holds back this title greatly. Now, there is one more upgrade I haven't mentioned yet, which is the Mystic Melody. This is also an optional upgrade for every character. After you get the Mystic Melody, you can play it at these statues to open up either a shortcut, a path to a new area, and sometimes unlock hidden items. And all these upgrades are hidden in each character's story, and it must be found where they are hidden with each character. Some of the upgrades end up being like right in front of you and you have to get them to move on, and the optional ones are a bit tougher to find, which means that they're a lot harder to get to. I mean, aside from all that, we have rings. You collect 100 naturally and you gain an extra life. Get hit, you lose all your rings. Take a hit with no rings, you die. And you have checkpoints. If you run through the checkpoints with a certain amount of rings, you get neat bonuses. And also, you can find capsules which contain different items. The items in-game you can get are a 10-ring bonus, a 20-ring bonus, speed shoes, invincibility, a regular barrier, a magnetic barrier that attracts rings, and an extra life. And also, the mechs can get a med kit, which fully restores their health. If you lose all your lives, you go back to the main menu and have to start the stage you were on all over again.
As far as gameplay goes, it's very solid in the running sections. There's very little complaints other than the massive amounts of grinding you have to do at the end, but even that's fun. I just miss the running a little bit when you're grinding for such a long time. And the one level where you have to flip switches and go back and forth, up and down, and stop running every 4 seconds, that's kind of irritating. But it's just that one. And the search sections aren't too bad, but they become a huge detriment near the end of the game. I mean, you spend like an hour finding one shard, you're bound to get bored and just want to be done with the level. And the mech sections, as soon as it comes to that, it just drops off. The pacing is gone, you don't even want to play anymore because they're just so tedious. Everything you gotta do, from moving to jumping to shooting every enemy. And hearing the god-awful... And it's so easy to die from something like a simple jump. So, the gameplay becomes very mixed when you have a really good section, an okay section, and then a really bad section. But it's not all bad. I mean, most Sonic 3D games, you have that awful glitchiness where you can fall through something or not be able to finish a level, and that's not really present in Sonic Adventure 2. It's not, like, completely broken. There are some sections where you can glitch out of the map or miss a jump because of something, but it's relatively rare in this game compared to every other game you probably played. Don't get me wrong, it does happen, but it doesn't happen as often as every other one. Fashion, baby. Oh! Time is stopped! I don't know how I did that! So the gameplay gets a big ol' meh for me. I mean, if you remove the mech sections, I think that would improve the game greatly, but, you know, you get what you get. I think it would be awesome to either take them out or take Tails out of his robot. Like, bro, you can fly. Why are you in a mech?
That's right, it's boss time! We've actually got some pretty inspired fights here. It's not fighting Eggman in a different form every fight, there's actually a variety. So first, let's take a look at the hero side of things. First off, Sonic fights Bigfoot, a mech that flies around and shoots you. He'll stop, land, and shoot rockets. That's your chance to hit him. You can also use the boxes around to take him out without waiting, which is a real nice introduction to Sonic's fighting mechanics. Shadow's first boss is more or less the same, but he's slightly different, Hotshot. He has to charge a laser attack instead of rockets, which is when you have to hit him. Now, they aren't all super inspired. Some of these fights are just the hero and dark characters fighting each other, which aren't very noteworthy, and the first matchup is Eggman vs. Tails. Just spam the shoot button. Next fight is Sonic vs. Shadow. Just attack the other one from behind.
Okay, now we're talking. Knuckles' first fight is King Boom Boo. And what the fuck? We need more bosses like this dude. Knuckles fights this big-ass ghost. He chases you, throws fire, tries to eat you, getting faster and faster the more damage you do to him. Once he starts breathing fire, you can run behind him and hit his little ghost buddy, which will open the doors at the top, letting some sunlight in. Then, dig him out of his shadow and punch him. Rinse and repeat. Man, I love this guy. And it's very rewarding because you can dig this guy out, and if you're fast enough, good enough at the game, you can one-cycle this guy. That means you don't even have to wait for the next turn. You can just kill him in one go. And for another good fight, we have the Egg Golem. Not Gollum, it's Golem. I don't care what anyone says. First with Sonic, you run behind while avoiding his attacks, and jump the platforms on his back to hit the module on his head. It's a textbook Sonic battle, but on the opposite side, Eggman fights this guy. After it goes berserk, he has to shoot cracks in his armor and hit the exposed weak points to whittle its health down. Which is fine, but if Eggman falls, he dies instantly. Sonic can jump out of the quicksand below, but Eggman's mech can't, which really blows because you can fall a lot with the perspective issues. After that is the first and final fight of Tits. I'm sorry, Rouge and Knuckles, and they just punch each other. Now, the rematch of the other characters changed the fight, with the character you are fighting being fully upgraded. So whoever is your enemy will have all their gear and have access to special attacks, which you can't do, which is bullshit. Somewhere in there, Rouge fights Flying Dog, which is really similar to the other mech guys, but he has no legs to land on, so he's constantly in the air, which uses Rouge's flying ability to have to hit his cock. Pit. And the final fight is easily the coolest one, being Sonic and Shadow's final fight. They run along this infinite runway and hit each other until one wins. The only real good fight between the rival teams that I can think of.
The bosses are all solid and keep you engaged. The rival fights are a different story. They go from total pushover to how do I dodge this fucking laser? They aren't immense levels of difficulty, but they're really fun to play. And they aren't after every single mission, so you get some good spacing and you get a fight with every single character. And that makes it actually pretty nice. Way to go, Sonic Team USA.
Oh, Sonic keeping it strong with these awesome soundtracks. The music is so good. It gets stuck in your head. Each theme fits the character so perfectly. And while some are so much better than others, you can't help but love each one's theme and the music that goes to each level and boss fight to this day. I still find myself singing City Escape just because I can, but that is by no means the only thing this game has to offer. We have so much. The boss themes are all high-rise, let's fight anthems. Each stage really puts you in that mindset, like these pyramid sections. Mint. Shadow being a badass? Check. Tails? Oh, okay, never mind, scratch that one.
The point I'm getting at is the game does music right, and it does it perfect, whether it's running in a city, grinding in space. The soundtrack nails everything perfectly. Another A+ in the music department. Way to rock it, Crush 40. Which leads up to the last venture Sonic Adventure 2 has to offer, and that's the extra... The hell's that? Uh-oh.
You thought the story was over? Get out, dude. It's just the beginning. After beating both stories, another one unlocks. The final story. And it starts off with Eggman confused as to why the cannon isn't firing, and remember his grandfather Gerald, who was a character? Guess what? He's the main antagonist! He shows up on screen with a message of death for everyone. Gerald has set the space station to crash into the Earth. Uh-oh! So obviously Knuckles is all about that Eggman blame game, saying it's all him. However, he gives his grandfather's diary to Rouge, and if he read this, why did he bring them up here? Which reveals that Gerald went insane after his granddaughter Maria was killed when the Ark was shut down. Racked with guilt over his work being the cause of her death, he decided no one was worth keeping around, and geez, I can sympathize. So he pre-programmed the Ark to crash if the emeralds were gathered on it, which now calls a motherfucking team up! Now everyone has to work together to stop the Ark from crashing into the Earth, culminating in one final stage. This is the only stage where I love playing as everyone. Even the mech sections really feel like they have their place in it. Everyone's goal is to get to the core and shut it down with the Master Emerald. Tails leads off the fight by going through a section with a lot of time-stopping elements. Once you get through Tails' part, he hands off to Eggman, which is roughly the same as Tails, albeit a little bit harder. Then we go to Rouge. She has to find a switch that fills the room with liquid, allowing you to enter a new area. After she does, Then Knuckles has to find another switch, but his section is mostly swimming, which is where the air necklace really comes in handy. Once he hits the switch, we finally get to Sonic, who has to use everything he's learned to make his way to the core, hitting enemies to get to certain platforms, grinding over dangerous obstacles, and being a fast son of a bitch. Now while this is happening, Amy tries to convince Shadow to help everyone out, which he says, "Piss off, dude, this wouldn't have happened if you weren't even here." Oh wait, that was just a voice in my head. He tells her no, he's not interested, but he suddenly remembers that Maria was a friend, or lover? I don't know, I don't put shit past Sonic Team anymore.
To us.
What are you doing? No. 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 No! Ah! And she didn't want him to be bad. She wanted him to save people, and in response, he shows up for the last part of the final stage, fighting the real Shadow, Project Bio. Oh my... What the fuck is that? This fight is hard. You have to run around and dodge perfectly. I think it's a very skilled battle up until the last hit, where you have to float around, and I swear it's just luck avoiding these bombs, so good luck with that. After you win, the hot dog man teleports to the cannon, and he pulls this bastard himself towards the earth, and that's
No good.
So what do? Super why are there so many Dragon Ball things going on here? Jeez. The Emeralds turn Sonic and Shadow into Super Mode, and the true final battle begins. In space! So they have to charge at the swords on the lizard's underside without getting hit, and before their rings run out. Throughout the fight, you will switch between Sonic and Shadow automatically as your rings get low, or as you get a hit in. The lizard goes from shooting lasers, to shooting more lasers, to bombs and lasers. Seriously, this gets ridiculous. And after a long, grueling battle, Shadow teleports the whole station into stable orbit. And asshole Sonic doesn't even save Shadow from falling to his death. That's right, the epic super cool character that they just introduced dies in the same game. Shadow falls to his death and everyone mourns his loss, but Sonic Team is already wondering how the fuck they're gonna bring him back in a stupid way.
A gun! A gun! A gun? A gun!
Anyway, Shadow's just happy he completed Maria's desire to protect humans, thus ending Sonic Adventure 2.
This finale had it all. Epic boss fight, epic team-up, epic music! It's just such a good way to end the game. Final boss can feel cheap at times, but for the most part, it's relatively skill-based. Altogether, it's just such a cool way to have everyone be a part of the finale, where usually you just play as Sonic and beat the game as him. This gave every character a chance to shine and do their part, and that really hits a sweet spot for me.
Now, as I was saying before I got interrupted, the last venture Sonic Adventure 2 has to offer is the extra content, and it is not lacking. First off, let's talk about the main game extras. So each character has missions they play through, but they don't end there. You can go to the stage select screen and play up to 5 missions for each stage. They are usually the same, except for one instance. So typically, first mission is to play the stage normally. Second mission is get 100 rings as fast as possible. Third mission is to find a lost Chow somewhere. Mission 4 is to finish the stage within a certain amount of time. And finally, mission 5 is to beat the stage on hard mode, where it becomes a lot more difficult to platform and there are a lot more enemies. So you can find yourself playing through these for a decent amount of time, and they provide a bit of challenge. The exception I mentioned is for the 2 cart missions. Oh, they're so bad. They're so hard to try and complete. I mean, don't hit a wall? After that, we have a boss rush mode, which pits you against every boss in the game, and you compete to get the best time. Here we have a kart mode, which you can race your friends, and this isn't worth playing? A nice little options menu with a sound test, which you will spend hours in listening to songs. Hey, and what are you listening to?
Get out of my room. I'm trying to listen to my music.
After that, we get to the multiplayer, which isn't too illustrious, and I'd like to make note that I'm going to be talking about the battle version of the multiplayer since we have a few modes to select from. First is a foot race between 2 characters from the beginning to the end of a section of one of the playable stages. However, there are also some made for versus mode stages. We have Hunt for the Treasure, and finally, just a fight between mechs in a small stage. The best easily is the foot race. It's super fun and makes you wonder why Sonic R is the only foot race game, because Sonic Adventure 2 obviously made it work, and it's really fun, even if Amy is super broken.
Just wait a minute. Yeah. Just wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. All right.
God dang it, why do you always pick Amy?
And Crow.
So, yeah, we have a series of characters with certain abilities that can be used too. For the foot racers, we have Sonic and Shadow, which are just base fast and can gain their super abilities at 20, 40, and 60 rings. With 20 rings being a speed up, 40 rings being a special attack that hits your enemy no matter what, and 60 rings being a time stop, which stops time for 10 to 20 seconds. Then we have Metal Sonic, who has no specials and is only good for the grinding section. And finally, we have the friendship ender that is Amy fucking Rose. She gets her specials at 10, 20, and 30 rings, which causes you to endlessly spam specials at your opponent. She is undefeatable, but slow. For the hunting, we have Knuckles and Rouge, also base characters, and then we have Chaos from Sonic Adventure 1 and Tikal, also from Sonic Adventure 1. They're kind of meh. Tikal is super weak, and Chaos is strong. There's nothing really special about them besides their special attacks, which are just slightly different variants. And in the mechs, we got Tails, Eggman, and oh my god, adorable little Chows, the neutral and dark version. They all shoot guns at each other. It's not insanely entertaining, but it's here, and it's definitely an add-on. Now going further to the moment everyone has probably been waiting for, the Chow Garden. This bad boy has stolen so many hours from unsuspecting victims. So you see, throughout the game, you can obtain animals in these chaos drives from enemies, and you can break these chow boxes to get the key that will take you to the garden after completing a stage. Once you're here, you have these cute little babies, and you can raise them by giving them these items, and you can increase certain stats and take them to tournaments in-game to race or fight. You can also decorate them with items in the black market, change their names, teach them things in school. It's like raising a Tamagotchi with way more variety. It's very addictive and incredibly fun. You can also evolve your Chow, and they go from neutral to hero or dark Chows depending on who raised them. And this game is a whole nother game inside of Sonic Adventure 2. I could make a whole separate video talking about just the Chow world, but we would be here a lot longer than we already have, so let's just stop here.
It's packed with content. It's not all grade A stuff, but even the worst thing is enough to keep your attention. I'm a huge fan of every game that has extras in it. Whether they're good or bad, at least they put something into it, aside from the main game. I'm a huge fan of everything that's in this game, from the Chow Garden, even to the kart race. As much as I dislike the kart race, it's fun to get with a friend and then just bitch about how ass it is. Even long after you beat the story mode, you've got reason to boot up the game and go back, either by yourself or with a friend. And I think a lot of games now miss the opportunity to cash in on that market. People who want to play together or even just play more of their story themselves. It really gives you a chance to take a break from the main game and even introduce your friends to the game, which I commend. It's always a good time, either on your own or with someone else.
And we have some bonus content. Always a good sign for a game to have some sweet bonuses. First off, we have additional costumes. I believe they unlock with emblems that you gain. So every character has like a jumpsuit or holiday costume, which is really especially for a game in the early 2000s. And we also have Big the Cat. You thought he was gone, but he eternally hunts for Froggy in the background of some levels. First time you see him, he gets run over by the big truck at the end of the city escape. And he makes cameo appearances throughout the rest of the game in a bunch of hidden or unreachable places. And finally, the biggest bonus of them all, remember those emblems I just briefly mentioned? Well, when you complete a level or a certain activity in-game, you unlock one of these emblems, and to unlock every single one, you need to get an A rank on every level and every minigame. Once you ace everything in the game, you will have 180 emblems, which grants you access to... Yes, a 3D remake of Green Hill Zone. Now, I know this isn't impressive now, with how much Sonic games remake Green Hill Zone, but this was the first 3D remodel of this map ever, so it was a pretty big deal to see back then. Aside from this awesome piece of history, you can buy extra menu themes in the black market. The only ones I've seen, though, are Maria and the Secretary, which are actually super rare to spawn in the black market. Also, the differences between vanilla SA2 and the battle version are crazy. There is a long list, so I suggest looking it up to see how different it is from the original.
Sonic Adventure 2 is by no means perfect. It has its flaws. The story is a little too serious for a game about anthropomorphic animals that run fast, the mech sections really blow, and the hunting sections are tedious at the end. But all that gets circumvented when you put into perspective how much this game has for you to play. You have the Chow Garden to break up all the sections that you didn't want to play or you weren't ready to get to right away. You have an awesome multiplayer mode to bring friends over and, enjoy the game with them. You had a ton of missions to help you get better at playing the game and to play a stage in a different way than you did the first time. The running sections are damn near perfect. It's so much fun to play and it really sucks you into the game. And the soundtrack? It's amazing. It really captures the essence of every character and even every stage you play. The story has its moments that make it a Sonic game, as weird as it can be sometimes. But the effort is there. You can really tell that there was a lot of love put into this and people actually cared. Unlike... And not to mention, Sonic Adventure 2 has one of, if not the most memorable Sonic level in all of Sonic history. You know it's always a good time once you hear that bass riff start. And with all that taken into consideration, I'm gonna have to give this game a...
You're pretty good.
It's a really good Sonic game, and I think it can stand with the best. I might have my nostalgia glasses blinding me, and I might get a lot of hate for giving this such a high score, but sometimes you just gotta live and learn. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video all the way through. As usual, if you liked the video, please leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. If there's anything that I missed or something you liked in the video, please leave a comment, let me know. I'd love to get a discussion going. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you next time.